Hi everyone, my name's Alex Edmiston, and here's my advice for International Women's Day 2026. Don't wait to be chosen. Don't wait to be promoted. Don't wait to be invited, validated, or discovered. Build the room if it doesn't exist, and raise your hand even if it shakes. Write the book, launch the event, start the conversation. I wrote my novel, The Immortal Secret, over 10 years ago while working full time. And there were moments when I doubted myself, and there were so many moments when I doubted myself. But the only thing worse than failing would have been to never try. You don't need permission to lead. You don't need to be perfect to start. You don't need to shrink to make others comfortable. Use your voice, tell your story, because when one woman steps forward, she quietly gives others permission to do the same. And that is how real change happens.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jen Parsons, naturopathic doctor and women's health advocate. And for International Women's Day, I want to say something I wish every woman had heard earlier, myself included. Your body is not a problem that needs to be fixed. It is a relationship that needs to be built. Women's health is not just about fixing hormones, and it's certainly not about having enough willpower. It's about sleep, it's about stress, it's about nourishment, it's about boundaries, and it's about having access to the kind of care that you don't need to earn by falling apart first. So here's my wish for you today. One small act of self-trust and self-care. You can choose making an appointment, going for a walk, eating a meal without feeling any guilt, saying no without any explanation, because you deserve the kind of care that is respectful, that is kind, that listens, that is real. And that starts with the way that you talk to yourself. Happy International Women's Day.
Hi, and this International Women's Day 2026, I'd like to address every woman who's building something bold. Whether you're building it in business, in science, for your family, or quietly inside yourself, I want you to know you do not need permission. You don't need permission to start. You certainly don't need permission to pivot. And you don't need permission to take up space. I've spent many years in pharma and years in tech, and now mentoring so many founders that are building unbelievable things, taking huge risks. The difference I see between people and women who end up moving faster than others or rising while others stall, that one difference I see is that the ones who are moving ahead, they really stop waiting to be chosen. They choose themselves. Confidence isn't the thing that comes before action. You act, and it comes right after that, basically taking that first step. So if you actually insist on that terrible term, imposter syndrome, okay, but just remember, men have it too. Most of them manage it differently. And how you respond to that is really huge. Learn to deal with it as fuel, as a way to grow and to not get stuck. And as you rise, make sure you're lifting other women as well with you, because the world really needs your intelligence, your courage, and your voice, and those of others around you who are supporting you. And guess what? The world needs you exactly as you are.
My name is Catherine Marshall, and my words of wisdom for women this International Women's Day is to always stand up for yourself. Do not feel afraid to take up space or use your voice. Also, it's never too late to start something new, and you're never going to find the right time to start that big idea or project that you're thinking about. So just go ahead and do it, and you won't regret it. So happy International Women's Day, and I love being part of this community.
As we begin our celebration of International Women's Month, I am celebrating the extraordinary number of women around the world who are rising up against injustice. I see women in Minnesota standing in freezing temperatures, protecting immigrants. I see women in Iran risking imprisonment and death simply to live freely. I see women in Ukraine leading their families and businesses in the middle of a horrible 4-year war. I see women in India speaking out against violence and demanding that the system finally changes. These women and so many more are showing unstoppable confidence and courage. They are choosing to fight, to speak, and to act. And once you make that choice, the world changes, and so do you. Wishing you a courageous International Women's Month.
This year's International Women's Day theme is Give to Gain, and I'm going to talk about that because I think as women, we gain when we give, when we support each other through mentorship, through being able to pick up the phone and call someone. I've talked about collective wisdom before and how women need to come together and share the insights. And in sharing and in giving, you gain. So I think both sides of that equation are so important for women. Actually, when you give, you gain. And when you're the recipient of someone giving, you are gaining. So pass it on this International Women's Day, Give to Gain.
Hello. These are not gentle times. We are now living through an era where the truth is pulling back the curtain on power and greed and institutions that we trusted to protect the vulnerable. But too often they're protecting themselves instead. And what's being revealed is not just about individual crimes, it's about systems that were designed to concentrate power, to shield influence, and to silence accountability. For generations, the predominantly male leadership across business, religion, education looks remarkably the same, and the results speak for themselves. So today, on International Women's Day, instead of celebration, I offer the following question. What might the world look like if leadership reflected the full humanity it serves? What if power were shaped not by dominance, but by empathy, not by control, but by care, and not by extraction, but by stewardship? Because history shows us that when women lead, something shifts. Communities stabilize, healthcare improves, peace lasts longer. And this is not about replacing one hierarchy with another. This is about balance. So perhaps the future shouldn't require that women be honored with a single day, but rather invite them fully to help lead every single day. Happy International Women's Day to all.
This International Women's Day, I want to talk about something we don't hear enough about: trusting yourself. So many women are leading teams, raising families, carrying this invisible load, and still questioning if they're doing enough. Here's the truth. You're already enough. You're already powerful. You don't need to earn your seat. You don't need to shrink your voice. You don't need permission to take up space. Confidence isn't about having all those answers. It's about trusting yourself to figure it out. Leadership isn't perfection. It's about presence. When women trust themselves, everything changes. They speak up, they set boundaries, they step into opportunities before they feel 100% ready. And that's where growth happens. This International Women's Day, I challenge you to stop doubting and start deciding. Decide to back yourself, decide to own your value, decide to lead boldly at work, at home, and in life. Because when women rise in confidence, we don't just change our own lives, we change the world. Happy International Women's Day.